So I was having a conversation with one of the agents I coach, and she was asking me about how is it that she can compete with these discount brokerages or these discount offers when it comes to converting for sale by owners into listings. She was having a difficult time understanding, hey, listen, these people are offering to list these houses at 1% or 2%, 3%. How is it that Brandon, I can go out there and compete, and win these listings with these for sale by owners at a full fee? And I said, well, there's some things for you to consider, some insights that I shared with her that I think you might find very, very useful. And I showed her this. I will show this with you guys now. What I call the cost value scale. And when we look at this and we say, okay, well, it really comes down to which one of these things is tipping the most based on a perception of value. Is it that the seller sees that by paying the least amount of money, that has a bigger added benefit than what an agent could potentially provide by offering more value? Because as you guys have heard time and time again, price is what we pay, value is what we get. And we've heard that time and time again. And so I want to share these insights that I think will be very useful, or you can be the judge of that, in converting for sale by owners. The first insight that we talked about was the fact that our most important foundation in order for us to go out into the marketplace and compete with anybody, especially with a for sale by owner, is, do you first and foremost believe that by listing a house with you, that seller is better off? In other words, do you believe in your soul that you can justify the fee in which you charge? Yes or no? Because the truth is, if you don't believe, it is virtually impossible, right, to have other people believe that you are the best option, and you will be exposed because there is no transference of conviction. So let's put that aside. That's a simple, easy, yeah, Brandon, we get it, blah, 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 whatever, heard that before. Give me the good stuff. Okay, let's get into it then. Because price is what you pay and value is what you get, in our world of real estate sales, we have to determine what we mean by value. Well, in order to understand that, value in the eyes of a seller, when they're deciding on who they are going to hire to sell their home, is a perception, because nothing's happened yet. So it doesn't matter that one is saying they charge this and another saying they charge that. It doesn't matter this agent's saying they're going to do this and that agent's saying they're going to do that. It is all based on how the seller feels, their perception. And do me a favor for a second. Try to quantify your perception. Try to quantify how you feel right now. Quantify the value or the lack of value you might be getting from this episode. Pretty difficult to do. That's the whole point. The point is, this is a great opportunity that we have to win the business based between the lines of perception, because we have an opportunity to win the business regardless if we charge more or less than another agent or another company. Now, what is the seller's perception initially? When they say to you, or they bring up the fact of, hey, we're going to list the house with this discount, whatever, company agent. We're going to list it with another agent who said they're going to charge a lot less. What is it that they are actually saying when they say that? And most agents do not understand this. They don't recognize this. They, in fact, think the competition is on the price in which the seller is paying, but they forget that price is what you pay, value is what you get. Price what you pay, value what you get. And what do I mean by that specifically? What the seller is saying is, we think all agents are the same. That's what they're saying. It's just coming out as a result of me paying less. Well, Brandon, how can that be true? Because in order for a seller to say to an agent that charges more money, I'm going to list the house with someone else because they charge less, they are in turn saying both are the same. So I am going to win by paying less because my worldview, this is the seller talking, my perception is that all of y'all are the same. All of you real estate agents are the same. You are no different. If I list it with Bob, Susie, this company or that company, you are all the same. You will all sell my house at the exact same dollar amount. And therefore, I am making my decision based on, who charges the least? Because my perception, my worldview is that you are all the same. And so if you are all the same and you all sell my house at the same price, then I will net more by paying less. That is what they're saying to you. So that is a great opportunity for us. How so, Brandon? Well, here's what we do with that information. This is such an easy thing to alter in your skill set once you understand what I'm about to walk you through. Because their worldview, because of their perception is everybody sells houses at the same dollar amount, so therefore I pay less. Well, the first thing we're going to do is, if they're talking to an agent who says, well, listen, Brandon, I'm talking to an agent who says, they can list this whole thing at 4%. Can you do any better? My first question is, I'm so glad you brought that up. And I'm going to use a third-party story talking about my experience with someone else so that they don't feel threatened. They have no reason to become defensive. And I'm going to say, well, I'm glad you brought that up. I've had a lot of people in over the years that have asked who have asked that same question, who have brought up the same thing. And the question that I always have for people is, if the goal is to pay the least amount of money for someone to sell the house, if that is more important than how much they net from the sale of the home, then why wouldn't they get somebody who would charge even less than what that agent told them? Have you considered if, and then I can turn it right back around and ask the prospect, if it is, if that is you, and it's fine if it is, why pay 4%? Why not find one of those companies that does it for $99? Well, now what can the seller say? The seller can say a couple things. The seller could say, well, we may just do that. And if that's the case, then after you saying what you said, they are telling you they are more concerned with paying the least amount of money and that they don't care about their net. It'll be rare that they say that, but they could say that. Or they might come out back and say, well, we don't want to because of all these reasons. And essentially the reasons are arguments for why they would not want to go the cheap route, because there's some potential downside to that. Isn't that what we want? Or they say, well, we are more concerned with our net bottom line, which is even better. And when they respond with something like that, we can simply agree with them and communicate the fact to say, listen, if your goal is to net the most amount of money, regardless of how much you pay, then would it be completely ridiculous for us to at least get together. I'll show you what I'm doing to work with my clients, to have buyers give great offers. In other words, pay more for my clients' homes than they would any other home in the marketplace. And after we meet, you decide. You be the judge. You can make your own decision if hiring me makes more financial sense for you and your family because you believe I can get you more in your pocket than this other company. Fine. But if after our meeting you find that it doesn't make sense or you don't believe I can put more money in your pocket, well, at least you know. And at least you know that what you're doing, you've vetted it out. You have multiple different options or opinions. And now you know with certainty that you are making the right decision for you and your family, which is ultimately what you want, right? And it's so easy for them to agree on that because what we're trying to do is we're not competing on price. We're competing on value. And our value and our goal in what it is that we do as real estate salespeople is to protect people's bottom line. It isn't to get into this battle of the race to the bottom that ultimately you will lose because there's always somebody who will do it for cheaper. Because isn't it fair to say that just because it is cheaper, that it's not better in many cases? Isn't that a fair thing to say? That there are times and there are things in life that cost more and are better? I mean, is that fair? If that's even a possibility, then wouldn't it be fair then to assume that we position that fact or that worldview to the prospect? The prospect has the autonomy to make their own decision. Our job is to fight for the appointment, to have the opportunity to win the business. It isn't that we're saying we're better or we're worse. Our job is to have a different perspective, one that the seller can be the judge on, because again, it's based on a feeling. And when you go and nail your listing presentation and you can increase the perception of the value in which you deliver, the chances of you winning that listing goes up dramatically. So if that made sense at all, and you want a coach to help you with your skills, I'll put a link to our Listing Agent Academy coaching program right in the description underneath this video. Feel free to click it. Schedule some time, find out more about our coaching program, how it works, if it's for you, if it's not. And if it is, cool. And if it's not, that's cool too. I'm hoping that you're getting a lot of good value and takeaways from these episodes. So with that being said, I appreciate your guys' time and attention like always, and we'll plan on seeing you guys tomorrow.